What about these market segments where you can't get them to talk and where, they're missing out because they're really slow to implement solutions? What market segments do you think are really lagging behind where they could be doing a heck of a lot more?
You're going to get me in trouble here. I think I would love to, I'm going to put it this way. I would love to delve more into airlines and hospitality. I think those and retail. I think they have been cornered in this space where they think they have to use the $2,000 device and that's all they can use. And I think there is such a big market out there. I obviously go to Sephora quite a bit. They always have the handheld scanner to check people out. And I just sit there and I know how much those devices cost. And when I know we have one that costs a third of the price, it drives me nuts. But the adoption in those markets, it's a little bit different on how they do things. And I'm going through it right now with one of the airlines where you just realize they're so set in their ways and they don't like change. I think that we're getting there. We're getting there with this specific airline, but it's been something where I can't wrap my head around it, especially when you put the dollars next to each other.
So I would say that what I've observed over the last few years is manufacturing and textile has really had a hard time adapting. And one of the biggest reasons I've seen why is that I go in and I've sat with C levels and I see these people who've built out these huge companies and they were and with all this machinery and all these things, and you could see how they were, the pinnacle of technology at one point in time. And what they did worked, but they're struggling to adapt to new technology. You walk in, you see the wood pane walls and the old camera systems and the old phone systems. So I've seen that a lot in the manufacturing facility, their inability to grasp and move towards new technology.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's fear of cost, or do you think that it's just lack of knowledge about what tech could be doing for them?
I think it's 100% lack of knowledge. And because again, you've got these business owners and leaders that they built something that was so big and they did what they knew, but they don't have a great understanding of why networking and security matters, why cell phones matter, why all these things matter. Meanwhile, their competitors oftentimes are starting to have a higher adoption rate, but they're seeing that they're not staying as competitive. And so being able to get in front of the right people and explain to them really the risk of not adapting and moving towards technology, how it's going to cost you much more in the long run.
And what kind of use case do you see for manufacturing? What if you could just wave a magic wand and say, "This is what I would put into your facility"? What do you think would be really good?
So when I look at safety and security, I think wearables and manufacturing, I think is a really good opportunity. Every manufacturing facility you go into, you always see the one big board that we are accident free, how many days? And there's some adoption rate where they do have networking that are set up in there, but if there's ways to put things on your network, you can track people where forklifts and operators are moving around. You can measure traffic. There are applications I think that would be very useful in manufacturing. Also, if you look at their machinery, they need to have diagnostics and things like that. It could be extremely expensive. And there are better solutions out there. And I wholeheartedly believe that we could go in there and make a solution that's much more cost effective, much easier to manage, reduce those. We talked about resource, knowledge, and skills gaps that we can do that, which is you find those in every organization.